Come thrifting with me at the Goodwill Outlet. If you're not already, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. It was a really good day, and I noticed that there were so many people who were coming to the Goodwill Outlet. I think it's because I went on a Saturday, and what I've noticed is that so many people like to go on the weekends as opposed to the weekdays, and that totally makes sense because, you know, weekdays are normally devoted to going to work and like actually, you know, being a productive person as opposed to just going shopping and digging around in the bins all day. And don't get me wrong, going to the Goodwill Outlet is definitely an all-day experience for me. Whenever I go for at least 2 hours, bare minimum 2 hours. I prefer to go for longer though if I can. It's something that my mom and I used to do when I still lived with my parents, and nowadays I kind of go alone most of the time. Sometimes I go with friends, but it is a very long haul kind of journey for me. It's not something that you can do for like an hour and then go, because you're going to miss out on really cool stuff. Plus you have to dig through a lot of bins, so it definitely does take a hot minute to actually be able to find some really cool stuff and be able to get whatever you might need. On this day, like I mentioned, there were so many people. I think it's because there were a lot of really cool items available, and you kind of always get that indication depending on the time of year. This was like in the post-holiday period, so a lot of people are like donating things. A lot of people are getting rid of their old stuff. They got a bunch of different stuff for like Christmases and like the holidays in general, so they got rid of a bunch of stuff. And whenever that kind of period rolls around, you know that the Goodwill Outlet is going to have a bunch of really cool stuff. Now on this day, they definitely got a little bit of a clothing genie, I'd say. Way too many clothes in the bins. I was almost overwhelmed by how many different kinds of items I saw that I really wanted, but I always have this weird system, which is like I take an item, I look at it, if it brings me joy on the initial kind of like glance over it, I put it in a cart and then I move on. I like look through a bunch of different things, and whenever I notice that my cart gets to like the halfway level or so, I look through whatever I've already gotten. If there's anything on that, like what I've already seen, what I've already kind of sorted through and filtered, that doesn't bring me joy anymore, or I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna wear this, because that does tend to happen to me a lot, I throw it back. And at the end of the experience, I normally walk away with a good 5 or 6 items that I've kind of looked through and filtered through a good 3-4 times, and that really helps me to make sure that I'm not overbuying anything, and also make sure that everything that I do buy is something that I genuinely want. For me, that system really helps, because I have such a bad habit of just grabbing everything that might fit me or it might look good on me and then getting it. So I kind of made this system in order to make sure that I'm like tempering myself and making sure that I hold whatever items I do want to get to like an actual standard instead of grabbing it. Unfortunately, there were so many people on this day that I couldn't find a cart. Luckily, I did find a cart after like a little while. I think I was there for like about 45 minutes or so before I found a cart. During that time, I was just kind of grabbing things though, and I would kind of follow the same system, but just holding things in my arms instead. Now that I think about it, maybe I should be doing that more often though, because I noticed that whenever I did that, it actually did help me not grab too many items. I saw a bunch of really cute clothes, including this really nice jacket. I thought the pattern on the back was so cool. Unfortunately, I couldn't actually get this one because it was just a tad bit too small for me to wear comfortably. Like it fit, but it wasn't like a loose fit, and I prefer all of my clothes to have a super loose fit. I am oversized clothing queen. I love wearing oversized clothing. Huge hoodies, baggy pants, all of that kind of stuff is super nice. So anytime that you see like me getting clothes or something, I tend to find something that is oversized. And unfortunately, this was more more true to size. Like, it definitely was more hugging me in my figure, I guess. So I didn't actually end up getting that one, but I am on the lookout for something that looks exactly like that, just in a slightly bigger size, so that it'll have that oversized look. And let me know if you know of any stores that sell stuff that looks like that, because I am super interested. I was primarily looking for two kinds of things on this day. Jeans, because I'm literally always looking for jeans. Like, if you're at a Goodwill Outlet, you pretty much guarantee that I'm going to be looking for different kinds of jeans. And I was also looking for jackets and stuff, because we're kind of rounding out the winter season. A lot of people are like kind of donating their old items and jackets and stuff, and I really like jackets. I especially love hoodies. I'm literally always wearing a hoodie. Even in the summertime, I have a couple of light hoodies that I can wear, and so I was looking for a bunch of those as well. Luckily, I did find so many hoodies on this day. I kind of suspected that people were going to be donating a lot of hoodies, because again, the weather is kind of getting warmer around here. A lot of people are switching from their winter clothes to like their early spring, kind of still wintry, but not cold enough to justify a super thick hoodie. And so I was like, I'm going to guaranteed find a bunch of really nice hoodies and stuff. And sure enough, I actually did find a bunch of really cool hoodies, super nice stuff. I also really like wearing sweaters and stuff, and thankfully I found a few different sweaters that I really like. I personally am somebody who loves layering clothes too. Like, I like to have on a super light kind of t-shirt on underneath everything, and then I kind of layer a bunch of different things so that I can adjust, because I also tend to get so cold sometimes that I just really like layering everything and making sure that I have proper ability to change my outfits if I need to, if I'm getting hot or something. So hoodies, sweaters, all of that kind of stuff really helps me out. I kind of had to continue digging through, and I did find a few different pairs of jeans, but unfortunately nothing was really in my size on that day. Everybody knows that is kind of just the luck of the draw. Sometimes you get really lucky and you can find a bunch of different items all in your size, and sometimes you just strike out and you're not able to find anything in your size. Unfortunately for me, this time I was not able to find anything in my size in the jeans department, but I luckily was able to find a bunch of really cool items in the hoodies department. So I think that I kind of still did manage to come out of this a winner, and regardless, I can always find jeans whenever I go next time. I do tend to go to the Goodwill Outlet fairly often. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Bye!